Hey there, my name is Ron. I'm with the Leaders Bucket. I want to thank you very much for taking a look at this video. This video is for parents, teachers, and caregivers of children. We're going to be talking about coping with anxiety. We're going to be talking about giving kids the tools they need so that they can understand what's happening when they're feeling anxious, what causes it, maybe how to prepare for that, and then how to deal with it. We're going to give them some healthy ways that they can deal with their anxiety. So let's start with preparing for anxiety. These worksheets are available to you, so I encourage you to take a look here and see what's going to be best for you and your little one. When it comes to preparing for anxiety, letting the child know that there are going to be moments in life where they're going to feel uncomfortable, they're going to feel nervous, all right? I've seen this firsthand as a teacher here in Florida. I've had clients in my personal training business that experience lots of anxiety, and it's a struggle for them. It's something that they're challenged with. And what we want to do is let the child know that these moments happen in life, okay? You're going to feel anxious. This is an opportunity for you to grow, okay? This is an opportunity for you to get stronger emotionally, intellectually. You want to understand that these moments will take place in our life. And if we have the tools in place to assist with those moments, it makes things a lot easier. It gives them an opportunity to understand what's happening. So on this worksheet, one of the first things we're going to ask is, what situations or triggers may cause me to be anxious? Now, we want to let the child really express themselves at this point. We want to let them tell us. We don't want to tell them what's going to necessarily make us anxious because we're not them. We want to let them explain it to us. And there might be things that they don't understand. There might be things they do get. And so what we want to do is listen carefully to what they're saying and write those things down so we can start to see what it is in their life that triggers them, that makes them anxious. Let them get that off their chest. And you might have to give some examples of what makes you anxious, but allow them to really share that information with you and go ahead and write that down on the worksheet. Warning signs or body signals that may indicate I'm becoming anxious. I know for me, my breath tends to get shallow and I get tense. Other people get kind of explosive. Maybe they yell, they run away in fear, they shut down, they don't want to talk, they get quiet. None of those things are wrong. That's just the way your body is reacting. Your heart may start pounding. You may start getting sweaty. You might start to feel hot. Those are fine too. That's just the way your body reacts in an anxious situation. And when we can explain that to a child, we take away the fear or the guilt or the not knowing what's happening. You're removing that and you're saying, look, when you get anxious, maybe you get hot and sweaty and your heart starts to pound. That's fine. What we're going to do now are find tools that are going to be used to help us get past that, to help us maybe even prevent it or slow it down. Give us a little bit of distance between where we're feeling that anxiety and how we're reacting. And in that moment, we're going to be able to collect our thoughts and move forward. So we want to go ahead and talk about the warning signs. What happens to them when they get anxious? Okay. I know that when I've been in situations in schools and a child raises their hand and I ask them a question, or I ask them what do you want to talk about today? And they forgot. A lot of them will tell me I forgot, or they're embarrassed. They don't want to tell me. They don't want to ask the question in front of their classmates. You can see it. You can see how they're reacting. So you want to see what kind of situations the child may be in and how their body reacts, and just talk to them about that. How have I handled it in the past? You want to ask this question to understand a little bit more about how they're going to react. This can give you a great tool when you're in a situation where they do get anxious. You bring them to the doctor's office. They don't feel comfortable in the doctor's office. They shut down. What is it that they've done in the past? How have they handled this? How have they reacted? And can you understand their behavior at this point a little bit more so you can communicate with them a little bit more effectively? I know a few years ago, my son was having a temper tantrum, and I got to the point where he didn't have the words to express what he was feeling. He didn't know the emotion he was feeling. He just knew that he wasn't happy. Something was wrong. And there are a million ways we can describe a feeling: frustrated, anxious, sad, angry, hurt, upset, distraught. Whatever word we're using as an adult, it's usually because we understand the feeling. We've been able to label that feeling. Kids don't always have that tool. So we need to be able to understand how they're reacting. And then in my case, I actually asked my son what color he was feeling. And he was able to tell me, I feel orange, which I know oftentimes we associate with anger or explosiveness like fire, but I could tell that it was, for him, that was the word he used. I said, let's just label it. It doesn't matter what word we use right now, just give it a name. And we used orange. And then I said, what color would you like to feel? And he said, well, I'd like to feel blue. And I said, okay, how do we go from orange to blue? And that was the technique I had to use for my son. Now, that was very specific to him. Your child will probably be much different, but you want to give them the tools that they need, and understanding how they've handled things in the past is going to allow you to do that. What can I say or do prior to getting ready for this situation? So if you know your child is going to be giving a presentation and they're very afraid of that, they don't want to do it, give them some time to practice. Give them some feedback, gentle feedback. Hey, you did great. You know, I've gone into situations where I was very nervous giving a speech, and one of the best tools I had was I went to a group. I had to give a presentation. I was very nervous. I was very uncomfortable. I got up. I made a lot of mistakes. I didn't do anything that I wanted to do in the presentation. It was a complete disaster. But the crowd erupted in applause because they knew that I was trying. And that immediately broke the tension, and I felt better. And then after that, I was able to give presentations much easier. So you might have to come up with something like that where you allow the child to get up, make some mistakes. Let's go ahead. Let's get them all out of your system. Do everything wrong right now. Practice, 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 and give them the confidence to move forward. Okay? Coping skills that I can apply if I begin to feel anxious. Write down some of their relaxation skills, their distraction skills, movement skills. Going outside, moving around, running, jogging, exercising, going up and down a flight of stairs a couple times. Deep breathing, right? Just getting in touch with their body and understanding what they're feeling. Now let's take a look at coping skills for anxiety. These are healthy coping skills. Relaxation, for example, deep belly breathing, really breathing down so that their belly expands, teaching them how to do that. It's going to help lower the tension in their body. It's going to help change the hormone levels in their body and lower their anxiety a little bit, okay? Tensing and relaxing their muscles. Make it a game. Make it something that they can do. They get really tense and then they relax like a superhero, and then chill out and see how they feel after that. Distraction, counting from 1 to 100, or counting from 100 backwards to 1. It's challenging. It gets their mind off the problem. Okay, and then they can start to realize in many cases that, hey, the problem isn't a threat. It's not a real threat. It's not a real problem. I'm anxious about giving a presentation, but it's not a real problem. I'm not going to get hurt from giving the presentation. It might be embarrassing, but I'm not physically threatened. Okay, so this helps to reduce some of that stress. Listening to music is a big one for me. I love listening to music. Movement, exercise. I exercise all the time. Stretching. Again, getting the body to move helps really release some of that stress, especially in little ones. That's why recess is so important, and physical education classes, PE, getting them to go outside and run around for a little bit. Thinking, positive self-talk, staying focused. A couple years ago, I was giving a presentation at my son's school, and the point of the talk was to tell the kids to never give up. And I was so impressed because later that day, my son got out of school. I picked him up and he said, Daddy, I want you to know I'm never going to give up. Whenever I try something, I'm never going to give up. And the other kids in his class got the same message, right? That positive self-talk. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep pushing forward. And you know what? Sometimes they'll fail, but they can pick themselves up and keep moving forward. Grounding. This is going to be a situation where notice 4 things that you see. What are 4 things? When you put yourself back in the environment, the physical environment, and you get yourself out of your head, that really helps kids to understand, hey, I see a book on the table. I see a cup of coffee. I see the door over there. I see my friend playing outside. Whatever it might be, get them grounded. Creative outlets like art, writing. Healthy habits, getting plenty of rest. Rest really helps reset the hormones. Very helpful to do that. Self-care, taking a break, just getting out in nature, taking a walk in nature is very helpful. And then the last sheet here we're going to have is our coping with anxiety. And I would recommend that when you print this one, you post it up. When I feel anxious, you want to give them that reminder. I do these things. Write them down. Have them write it down. I feel this in my body. Write that down as well. Let them notice it. Celebrate that as, hey, your body is reacting to the situation and you are handling it. And how are you handling it? Well, I have these thoughts. I get very nervous, I get scared, I worry, but here's how I'm going to handle it moving forward. Okay? We want to give them the tools that they need to make changes when they're in those situations. So we just want to make sure we practice this with them. We talk about it openly so that they feel more comfortable. My name is Ron. I want to thank you again for watching here at the Leader's Bucket. Go ahead, subscribe to our channel, like the video, share it with your friends, share it with other teachers, with other parents. Make sure you're sharing this information because we want to really make sure we give these tools to kids so that they have a better, more enjoyable childhood. They're better able to handle things. They grow up with those tools. And think about this. If they have these tools at this age, at a young age, how powerful they're going to be when they get older. That's what we want to share with them. That's what we want to share with you. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.